This is TWiT.
And we'll start with a phone that took a little while to become a thing, and now it's a thing, and it's a thing that Ryne has actually written about because Ryne has that in his hands. It's the Samsung Galaxy S21 Fan Edition. And part of the reason this even exists, I saw this story earlier, that the S20 Fan Edition sold more than 10 million units, and actually in itself went a long way to kind of recovering for Samsung last year. Everybody was super positive about the Fan Edition release of the S20 last year. And so here we are, the S21, although it feels kind of late, right? Like this took a while to see the light of day.
It was definitely delayed because there were rumors that it was going to launch earlier, and then there were rumors it was canceled, and then everybody said it was delayed. Now we finally get it, but it does feel late, and that's because it is. And I do feel like that has an impact on how good of a phone it is. You know, the market it's entering. It's a different situation than if it had landed 3 or 4 months ago.
So how does it compare to the non-FE version, or I guess it would be kind of like the baseline? Because all of Samsung's Galaxy S series devices, they have steps on the ladder. You've got your basic, then you've got your step up, then you've got your ultra. FE is kind of below the basic, right? I mean, more or less, that's kind of where Samsung's positioning this. How does it compare?
Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, so the S20 FE sits sort of just under the Galaxy S21 base model, and it's kind of a cut down version of the phone. But arguably, the S21 is already kind of a cut down version of the phone, and that's part of the problem that you run into talking about these two phones today, and that is the fact that when the S20 FE landed last year, which was, as you said, very popular phone. Everybody loved it. It arrived in a different sort of market for Samsung. So the Galaxy S20 at that time was it $1,000, $900? So the price difference was big. But now we're talking about only a $100 price difference between the S21 and the S21 FE because Samsung did so much work cutting down the S21 to hit this newer, lower price. And this is one of my favorite phones of last year. And they switched to a Samsung's Glastic back, that sort of matte plastic, which I like a lot. They cut a couple of other corners, but because of that, there's now only a $100 price difference. They also raised the price of the S21 FE compared to the S20 FE. So it's, even though, and I could talk a whole lot about the things I do like about this phone, I think that the question of value is different now, both because it was late, both because it's up against a different lineup as far as the rest of Samsung's flagships. All sort of comes together to mean maybe this isn't the sort of value killer like the last one was.
Is that primarily because, like you said, last year there was a wider price disparity between the two? Like now being close, it's kind of harder to, you end up in this position of like, well, for $100 more, I actually get a much better phone. So maybe I should do that. It also brings it closer to some of the other phones that are, right in the same ballpark that maybe don't consider themselves pared down versions of anything. They're just actually really great phones for a similar price.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's precisely the issue. You have the sort of like, the Motorola syndrome. You have so many phones at so many different price points that you get to the point that, well, for $50 more, for $100 more. And that's the issue Samsung has is there's for $100 more, you can get the base model S21, which has more RAM, handful of other small improvements. But it is still a good phone. I like it a lot. The screen on it is excellent. I can't believe this isn't like an LTPO screen because it's just so uniform. At low brightness, some of the non-LTPO screens, they can be a little uneven. This is an exquisite screen. Either Samsung binned me a really good unit or they really know how to make screens in less expensive phones now. I think the screen in here might actually be slightly better than the one in my S21. But yeah, the value proposition just isn't the same.
Can I ask you a question? Because you threw out LTPO, and this is the prime opportunity to kind of get some clarity on this. What is different about LTPO in a display technology? Why is it an improvement?
Oh, so it's It's a difference in, if I'm remembering correctly, and I might be talking a little bit out of my butt here, it's a difference in the backplane material, which affects, the sort of thin film transistors. I don't want to get too in the weeds here because I will talk for 20 minutes. Essentially, it can save power.
It's okay. This is a safe space, Ryne. You could do that. Go for it.
The very short version is that it's able to save power, so it uses less power doing the same sort of stuff, and it allows you to do variable refresh rate switching without, just better variable refresh rate switching, and you don't have to have that sort of flickering effect, which a lot of people don't really notice, but on older panels like the one in the Pixel 6 and the one in the Pixel 5, when the refresh rate changes between the two different modes, it actually adjusts the gamma, the profile of the display, when it's in the two different modes. And if you don't notice it, it won't be bothersome. I see it every time it happens, and it bothers the absolute crap out of me. So I really like this new display technology because it doesn't do that.
Nice. Awesome. I appreciate that explainer because I keep hearing about that technology and I haven't really done a whole lot of diving into exactly what differentiates it, but that sounds like an improvement. So, and so what you posted today, or actually this was yesterday, is a hands-on. I imagine you've got your SIM card in this phone, so you're working on a full review. So everybody can definitely check out what you have coming here in the future. But so everybody, AndroidPolice.com, you can find Ryan's work there, and be tuned into what Ryne thinks after spending more time with the device. Because at this point, it's really just like you've just had it for a short bit, and I know how this stuff works behind the scenes. There's only so much you can really talk about right now, but yeah.
Well, thankfully, I think there's only, I hope I'm not misremembering, there's a single stage embargo, so I can talk about anything right now. That's no big deal.
Okay,
but I've only had 2 days with the phone, so if you have any questions, I can answer them. I can show it while it's on. Like, none of that matters. I just haven't had as much time with it to be able to do a full review as I usually like to.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, well, everybody can tune in and check out your work, and once you have that review, we'll check it all out. Cool. Thank you. I'm super curious about that. I hope I'm able to kind of get it in my hands and get my SIM card in there and check it out as well.